Welcome to Survival Theory. If you've been out shopping lately, you've noticed something, or hopefully you have, and that's the limited availability of products. I went to Academy Sports and Outdoors like a couple of weeks ago, and 9mm ammo completely wiped out. Many other types of ammo limited or wiped out. Lots of 12 gauge, so that's something to think about. There was not a lot, I would say, but it was available. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the grocery store to stock up on some basics like milk, eggs, things like that. And I noticed that the vegetable selection was very low. Now, they had recently stocked up the shelves, so they didn't look empty. There were a few empty areas, but for the most part, it was filled up. But because every time I go to the grocery store, I do a little bit of prepping. You know, I buy a couple of cans of this, a couple of cans of that. I look for powdered milk, or, I look to see if canned tuna is on sale. Just anything I can get to increase my prepping stock. I was looking at the vegetables and I noticed that, gosh, there's a lot of corn and green beans, but there isn't really anything else. I mean, that was the vegetable section. Corn and green beans. What about all the other vegetables? I went to the grocery store again a couple of days ago, and it was the same thing. Rows and shelves full of corn. Sweet corn, whole kernel corn, the cream corn. There's also some green beans, and that, for the most part, that was the vegetable selection. I was able to find an off-brand, one style of off-brand sliced carrots, off-brand beets, and off-brand spinach. And those were just tiny little spaces on the shelf. It was one brand, one variety. There was a little bit of sweet potato in a can. I got that. I wouldn't say I was surprised, but it kind of woke me up. I better continue prepping. I better get what I can. So I bought every vegetable variety I could, a couple of cans at least. I bought some more corn, and I just tried to get what I could, because you just got to get what you can while you can. And I don't have a very good feeling about the future. I've been kind of doing a little bit of research on my own instead of just watching other people's videos. And my research has led me to believe that things are going to get much, much worse before they get better. And that's not just because of COVID, because that kind of dominates the headlines now. Orange Man bad and COVID. Those are the two dominant headlines now. On every platform, there's things going on. The economy, the world stage, world economies, warfare. There's just a lot going on right now, and things are not looking good. So I've been upping my prepping game and just kind of buying whatever I can. And that not only includes food, that includes gear. Before I talk about gear, let me show you what I got at the grocery store. So here's what I purchased on this run at the grocery store. Small bag of flour, enriched, bleached. Small container of baking soda. "64 ounces of macaroni. 5-pound bag of rice. I found 2 cans of carrots, and this was the only brand available. I grabbed 2 cans of chicken noodle. These are really good, condensed. I got 1 can of spinach. I meant to get 2, but one of them was dented at checkout, so I just put it back. So I ended up buying 1. That's the only brand available. And I got 1 can of beets. This is the only brand, only variety of beets available. There weren't very many of them. corn was everywhere. I did get some whole kernel corn, a pretty decent brand. And I found some sweet potatoes. So I grabbed these 2 larger cans of sweet potatoes. Yams and syrup. And these are 29-ounce cans. That's a pretty good amount. So we're not going to count the baking soda. How many calories is this? This is 19,820 calories. So almost 20,000 calories. How much protein is this? 518 grams. And most of that protein is in the chicken soup, the yams, pasta, flour, and rice. There's not many in the vegetables. How much did all this cost? Including the baking soda. Well, let's take that out. Without the baking soda. All of this costs $15. So $15 for a good variety of prepping foods. Got rice, pasta, some flour, some vegetables, including yams, 2 chicken soups. It's pretty good for $15 because prices are really going up. But that's almost 20,000 calories and 518 grams of protein. So that factors out to 12.64 calories per penny. So basically 13 calories for 1 penny. And mind you, there's not many calories in these vegetables. Now what about protein? That's 1 gram of protein for 3 cents. So that's not bad. 1 gram of protein for 3 cents. And if I was trying to focus on protein, I could have, but I was not trying to focus on protein or calories. I was actually just trying to get a variety of basics. Some rice, pasta for calories and protein, and some vegetables for nutrients. Chicken soup when I don't feel that great. Flour for baking or thickening. Baking soda. So all that was 15 bucks. So after food, water, and shelter, obviously you have gear. Gear is part of your shelter, part of your food, and part of your water. You have food, how do you cook it? Well, you can have pots and pans around the house, but if you need to bug out on foot and take some of that food with you, do you have a lightweight, portable cooking set? Do you have a rocket stove? Do you have just a small portable grill? What do you have that enables you to cook as part of your prepping? What kind of camping gear do you have? Water. How do you purify water? You're going to need water purification system, whether that's, well, you should have more than one. Tablets, small portable devices such as a clean canteen to boil water in, things like that. An instant water filter like a live straw. What do you have for water? And shelter. Do you have a lightweight tent that you can carry? Do you use a tarp and a sleeping bag? What do you have that if you needed to leave home, you can take it with you? Or even if you had to go outside because SHTF, your house burned down, no one's coming to put it out. But after it's burned down, you're not going to leave the property. Well, camp in your yard, whatever. What kind of camping gear do you have? If you don't have the gear you'd like to have because, well, I can't find one, it costs too much, the cheap ones are made in China, and I'm holding out for this USA company, but it's 3 times more. Look, here's my philosophy on buying from China. If it's survival gear or some kind of weapon that can keep me alive from my enemies, which could be communists or something like that, invading, and they want to sell me that product, I'm all for it. Now, that doesn't mean I want to buy everything from China. Like, for example, a ferro rod. I can go on Amazon and buy a ferro rod from Germany, high quality, not too expensive. From Sweden, not too expensive, high quality. There's plenty made here in the USA. I'll buy one of those. I won't buy it from China. Now, I've reviewed some solar power banks that are pretty cheap and work fantastic from China. I would use those in a heartbeat. I would buy those in a heartbeat because the American selection is pretty dang limited. And again, that's a survival item that I can use to help myself in a time of crisis, which may include the very people who sold it to me trying to take my life or, defend myself against them. So, heck, man, why not? Let your enemies help you. So assess your situation on what gear you need and double check everything to make sure it works, you've used it, you're familiar with it. Do you have a backup? Some things need a backup because they break every so often or they wear out. A lot of videos focus on calories. How many calories can you get for $1? How much protein can you get? Now that is obviously very vital because that's your energy and your protein. You need protein. But what about vitamins and minerals? That's pretty dang important. The more stressed you are, the more nutrition you're going to need to properly sustain yourself. There's a link to Nutrient Survival in the description below. And I'm going to be doing a video on those products pretty soon. They're great products, and the reason I like them, and I have some for myself, is because they're not real calorie dense. For calories, I can eat anything. I can grab some rice, some peanut butter, that's got protein also. Calories are going to be easy to come by prepping-wise, and they're very cheap. I can get 20 calories for a penny. What I'm talking about is nutrition. That's going to last 25 years plus, and it's built into the food that I would eat. So that's why I like the product, very nutrient dense, and I can supplement that by adding rice, beans, things like that for calories and protein. It does have protein, but it's not real calorie thick. Their focus is on nutrients, and I like that. So with our current social upheaval, worldwide food shortages, material shortages to pack and process that food, labor to process that food, potential war, potential economic collapse, the jobless rate, it's just getting real bad out there. I'd really start focusing on your prepping right now. So that's it. I'm not going to sit here and rant for about 10 minutes. Just kind of wanted to show you what I got and say a couple things. Thanks for watching Survival Theory. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.